Hi, my name is Liz and this is the Pink Lookbook. The Met Gala is approaching in big steps, and like every year there's a lot of speculations around the theme, the outfits, the guest list, and there are already quite a few indicators for potential controversy. In this video I'm telling you everything you need to know about the Met Gala 2024 with the theme The Garden of Time. Before we dive into the details of this year's Met Gala, let me quickly give you 5 basic facts you need to know about the Met Gala. The Gala is an annual fundraiser for the Costume Institute of the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York, and it always takes place on the first Monday of May, so this year it takes place on the 6th of May. Number 2, there's always a theme. This year it's called The Garden of Time, and this theme is not a random theme, it's always in collaboration with the Costume Institute because the Met Gala takes place just before the opening of the annual blockbuster exhibition. This year this exhibition is called Sleeping Beauties, Reawakening Fashion, and it is going to open on the 10th of May. Number 3, who is attending? The guest list up until the event is always top secret every year. And let me just tell you this, it's not enough if you can afford to buy a ticket to the Met Gala. Anna Wintour, the editor-in-chief of American Vogue, always has the last say on who can actually attend the Met Gala. Number 4, what happens at the Met Gala stays at the Met Gala. There is a strict no phone, and that means no social media policy, and that also means that there is little known what actually happens there. What is publicly known is that there are high-level performers and that the guests can visit the exhibition of the Costume Institute. And number 5, us commoners, we can watch the red carpet on TV or we can stream it live, for example on Vogue.com. Just as a side note here, this is a non-sponsored video. Many people talk about the Met Gala, but what is it actually about? Everything started in 1937 when the Museum of Costume Art was founded in New York. In 1946, this museum merged with the Metropolitan Museum, and 2 years later, Eleanor Lambert and Dorothy Shaver, who was then the president of Lord & Taylor, came together to organize a fundraiser dinner for this Costume Institute and its annual exhibition. And you may remember Eleanor Lambert from my other video about the history of Fashion Week. She was a key figure for fashion in New York and America. She was a PR publicist and also the founder of the CFDA, the Council of Fashion Designers of America. In 1959, the Costume Institute became an own curatorial department, and this also meant that the status of fashion as an art form was elevated because now garments could be displayed, they could be researched, they could be studied. And as a curatorial department, this also meant that the Costume Institute had to raise funds, and up until today the Met Gala is the major source of funds for the Costume Institute. Today the Met Gala is such a big event that we can't even imagine how it started out. It actually started as a midnight dinner and it was by invitation only. The tickets cost $50, and today it's this mega event for celebrities, sports people, business people. Back then it was actually limited to New York society and selected key figures from the fashion industry. From today's perspective, it's quite difficult to imagine that actually, because the Met Gala has become such a big event. There have been thousands of articles, there's so much coverage about the Met Gala, there have been books written about it, there are documentaries, and the hashtag Met Gala on Instagram today has over 2 million posts. And with this growing popularity, the numbers grew also for this event. Needless to say, also the ticket prices increased. It is a bit difficult to imagine today, but in 1998, one ticket cost $2,000 US. The same ticket for one person last year cost $50,000, and for companies it cost $300,000. And only from last year until this year, the tickets are said to have increased by $25,000. So we are talking here about $75,000 per person, and company tables start at around $350,000. And needless to say, this also affects the funds raised for the Costume Institute. Until 2022, the Met Gala raised $175 million US, and only last year's Met Gala, with this polarizing theme about Karl Lagerfeld, raised $22 million US. How did all of this happen? We have this small and exclusive fundraising dinner, and then we look at a mega event for fashion raising millions of US dollars. It's still very much exclusive, and one person who was very important for this development and laid the groundwork was Diana Vreeland. Vreeland was the editor-in-chief of American Vogue, And after she left that position, she joined the Costume Institute as a consultant, and then she started to basically open up this event. Vreeland was very savvy because she came from media and she knew about the power of pop culture, and opened up the event also to celebrities. So Liza Minnelli was attending, Elizabeth Taylor, also Elton John, but also Andy Warhol. And with this, the event grew and grew and grew, and also the media coverage grew for it. Needless to say, we again have this link with Diana Vreeland, and it moved towards this mega event that we have today. And this development was also due to socialite Pat Buckley when she joined in the late 1970s. She also stayed on after Diana Vreeland passed away in 1989. And since 1995, Anna Wintour has been co-chairing the Met Gala. She is the current editor-in-chief of American Vogue. And Anna Wintour built on the same strategy as Diana Vreeland and turned it into this mega event that we know today. She was also the one who started to invite performers on stage. So there was Madonna, Cher, Lenny Kravitz, Rihanna, Lady Gaga, you name it. And she was also the person who moved the date of the Met Gala from December to the first Monday in May. And since the 2010s, the guest list has also broadened, let's say. There are not only celebrities from the fashion industry, such as models or designers, there are also sports stars, movie stars, and also business tycoons who attend this important event. And with this, the red carpet has turned into an event itself. There's a lot of competition for the media coverage. Unfortunately, in my opinion, it's a bit too much now about this media and social media coverage, but that's a different story. And Anna Wintour is involved into pretty much anything from planning to executing. Under her, Harold Coda and Andrew Bolton joined. Harold Coda was the curator-in-chief. And when he retired in 2016, Andrew Bolton took over this position, and the three of them have worked on many very successful exhibitions for the Metropolitan Museum of Art. For example, the Chanel exhibition in 2005, or also the exhibition dedicated to Alexander McQueen in 2011. Usually the curators pick the topic, but again, as with everything related also to the Met Gala, it is done in collaboration with Anna Wintour, so basically she also has to approve that topic. And this exhibition aspect or curatorial aspect is not the only thing that Anna Wintour has to approve, because she famously also approves the guest list. Now, how does it actually work? Technically, you have to be 18 years or older and you have to be able to pay for the ticket, but it's not that easy. It is actually similar to buying an Hermes Birkin bag or a Bugatti car. You can't just walk into the store and buy it. You have to build up a relationship, and the most important relationship in this case is with Anna Wintour, because she has the final say. The way it works is that the companies or the designers purchase tables, and then they are allowed to invite guests, which ultimately have to be approved by Anna Wintour again. And there are rumors that Anna Wintour can be very picky about this, that sometimes she rejects certain guests and then suggests her own choice of guests. Needless to say, the companies still have to pay for the table then, even though technically those guests are then not the guests that they would have invited initially. And like every year, there's a lot of speculation around the guest list for this year's Met Gala. A few people are already confirmed. Rihanna is confirmed, and we know that Jennifer Lopez, Zendaya, and Chris Hemsworth as co-chairs will attend. The biggest speculation probably is around Taylor Swift this year, and I assume that we will also see Kim Kardashian or somebody else from the Jenner family, given their social media clout. According to Forbes, we can expect to see Oscar nominee Lily Gladstone and also Met Gala regulars such as Giselle Bündchen, Uma Thurman or Cara Delevingne. And what I found interesting last year is that quite a few regulars or big names of the Met Gala did not attend. One was Blake Lively, who is very famous for her Met Gala gowns, and also Lady Gaga didn't attend in 2023. I don't know about the reasons. Some people also speculated that this is a sign that the popularity of the event is in decline. But when I then compare it to the prices for the tickets and the funds raised, I'm not so sure about that. Maybe you know more about that. What do you think about this? Let me know in the comments below. Now, what actually happens at the Met Gala? This again is a secret. As I said before, there's a strict no phone, no social media policy, except for the red carpet. This is what we can watch on TV or online. Nevertheless, some celebrities managed to sneak in their phones. There was some footage. I actually don't think that they just snuck the phones in and did whatever they want. Given the importance of Anna Wintour, not only for the event, but also for fashion and business overall, I don't think anybody wants to upset her. I actually think that probably these were also carefully planned social media or marketing moves by Anna Wintour herself, or in collaboration with Anna Wintour, because I doubted that somebody who is such a perfectionist, who plans all these events, who is very strategic in each and every move, would just let it happen that somebody released such a footage. It sounds more like a carefully curated plan. We are talking about a fashion event here, so the outfits form a core part of the Met Gala, and it is a bit different to other fashion events, I would say, because probably when we think of the Met Gala, we associate the over-the-top outfits that have to also represent the annual theme. And these outfits have not always been as crazy or over the top as we see them today. Initially, it started out with normal gala attire, and then slowly from the early 2000s onwards, it became a bit more extravagant, a bit more over the top, or even crazy. And when we think about the red carpets from the more recent past, we probably all think of Rihanna in this yellow gown with the long train by Chinese designer Guo Pei. We also think of Lady Gaga, who changed her outfit 4 times in 2019. And there were even some politicians who used the Met Gala steps to convey their message. For example, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez wore a gown by American designer Aurora James, which said, tax the rich. Maybe you are like me, I'm already speculating which outfits we will see this year. One clue is always the exhibition itself. This year's exhibition, as I mentioned before, is called Sleeping Beauties, Reawakening Fashion. Let me also quickly read out what the Costume Institute itself says about this exhibition. The exhibition will reactivate the sensory capacities of masterworks in the museum's collection through first-hand research, conservation analysis, and diverse technologies. From cutting-edge tools, artificial intelligence, and computer-generated imagery to traditional formats of X-rays, video animation, light projection, and soundscapes. There will be around 250 garments and accessories on display, and the major storyline through this exhibition is nature, and basically that just like nature, fashion is fleeting, just like nature, garments also decay. I do have to admit that text sounds a bit cryptic. Also, the information on the website sounds a bit cryptic because they say it's not only about displaying garments. I just think that they want to create a whole experience, not only in the traditional sense that you can see very old garments, but that they also want to recreate certain experiences with other tools such as projections or artificial intelligence. We can expect to see Elsa Schiaparelli, Paul Poiret, Alexander McQueen, Yves Saint Laurent, Cristobal Balenciaga, and many more who created garments relating to nature. Many people online complained about the theme. They found it a bit too vague, but I actually find it quite interesting, and I do trust Andrew Bolton and his team to pull off yet another very interesting exhibition. I have to say I'm a big fan of Andrew Bolton. I love his exhibitions, so I'm pretty sure they know what they are doing. And when I heard about this exhibition, I immediately had to think of the Met Gala in 2022. You may remember this was when Kim Kardashian showed up in a dress which was originally worn by Marilyn Monroe. They damaged that dress. I'm still very upset that this dress was actually taken out of its museum or conservational setting to be worn on a red carpet. I think certain garments are clearly historical artifacts which should not be worn anymore. And this whole thing resulted in a big controversy, but I also think it was good that people finally talked about this, about ethics when it comes to historical artifacts in fashion. So maybe with this exhibition, the Costume Institute also wants to create awareness about archival garments, about historical artifacts in fashion. And they also say some of these garments cannot be displayed anymore. And I think this is where the digital aspect comes in, because I think there will be physical replicas of historical garments, but they will also use modern technologies, for example, projections or AI, to recreate garments that can't be displayed anymore. What does this mean for the outfits at the Met Gala? As I said before, the themes are kind of linked, but sometimes they also diverge a bit. And also this year, this is the case. So we have the sleeping beauties in the museum settings and the Garden of Time for the Met Gala. The Garden of Time is actually a poem from 1962 from J.G. Ballard. I hope I said this name correctly. So this whole poem, I have to say, is a bit of a weird story. It's about an aristocratic couple owning an estate with a beautiful garden, but a mob threatens them. And to turn back time, the husband goes into the garden and breaks the flowers. And by the time the mob arrives, the couple has been turned to stone. If I was a guest, I would not be sure how to take up this poem in the outfit. I would probably lean to the flowers, but that might be a bit too obvious. But we as commoners don't have the problem of thinking about these outfits. We just have to watch them and then talk about them later. But this topic also gives a lot of opportunity for vintage, and I do hope to see a lot of vintage this year at the Met Gala. I was a bit disappointed last year because there were so many opportunities for vintage Lagerfeld or Chanel or Chloé, and then we didn't really see much at the Met Gala. This year there's a lot of potential for Alexander McQueen, Galliano, or many other designers who incorporated the nature theme in their creations. Of course, maybe there is even a replica of one of the Miss Dior dresses. So this is another thing that I expect to see given the recent popularity of replicas. I do think that quite a few people will wear replicas of historical garments. And given that Loewe is a major sponsor of the event, I also expect to see a lot of Loewe and Jonathan Anderson creations as well. And when we speak about sponsors, there is a controversy already before the actual Met Gala. TikTok is a major sponsor, and there's a lot of speculation if the CEO Shou Zi-ju will actually attend, given what's going on in America with American lawmakers and TikTok. So this is already something that's quite polarizing online. But let's return to the fashion. I have not given up hopes that there will be very beautiful interpretations of this year's theme. Last year I was quite disappointed because I had the feeling that many guests did not even look closer into the topic. It was Karl Lagerfeld, and then we saw the typical black and white, we saw the camellias, and I felt there was so much room for interpretations. There could have been so many things that could have been turned into outfits, and we didn't really see that, probably because of social media, because a lot of guests will consider how does this outfit look on social media, on Instagram, on TikTok. And last year I had the feeling that a lot of these outfits aimed for that effect, and then unfortunately the execution was quite bad. They looked a bit tacky or cheap. I don't even want to say this, but this was my overall feeling, instead of opting for something that actually has substance. But the other issue is also media coverage. What do journalists for mainstream media pick? I found it quite interesting. Last year I watched the live stream and then I discussed selected outfits on YouTube. And when I then compared what I picked versus to what was covered in the mainstream media, it was quite different, because the mainstream media chose more outrageous or over-the-top outfits. For example, Jared Leto as Karl Lagerfeld's cat Choupette. And I find this quite a shame, because ultimately we are talking here about a fundraiser for a fashion museum and not a competition who can pick the most ridiculous garment. But maybe that's my opinion. I'm really curious what you are thinking about this. Are you actually going to watch the Met Gala, or are you sick of it? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. For more fashion related articles, head over to thepinklookbook.com, and if you like, also check out my fashion label Pelagona. And if you want to learn more about last year's exhibition of the Costume Institute, check out my video about Karl Lagerfeld, a line of beauty. Thank you very much for watching this video, and see you in the next one.